Again, we wanted this to be sort of a little bit of more of an intimate setting, so I'm glad we're able to achieve that. Live streams do as well to invite in all our community. When I think about Damon, what I think about is a lesson in life we all learn, which is nothing lasts forever. So we can't always worry about what we lose in life or what we don't have or what we don't get, but instead to learn in life about all the things we do have and the things we do get. We got to meet Damon during, I wasn't here, I mean, obviously, it's only my 4th year, so I only knew Damon for 3 of those years, but I'm already, we were looking at our summer calendars, and I'm already dreading the fact that every summer, one day I look forward to, because I never knew what day it was going to be, was the day where I'd be sitting in my office, and Damon would come walking in, I'd be like, yes! Because he would come and sit, and we would just talk for hours. Like, he just loved to tell me stories, and I love to hear about everything that's going on. Just talking to him, I'm truly going to miss talking to my friend in the summer. This summer, not having an opportunity, but I don't know why I deserve to meet him or why I deserve to be able to have him for the time I did, but that's something I'm incredibly thankful for, to have that opportunity, even though it wasn't as long as most of you. Because of what he did. I mean, look, we're here today, and if you haven't seen it yet, it's up right outside the balloons. If you haven't had a chance at some point to come through the building another day or today before you leave, this theater will forever be known as the Damon Green Theater. And that's awesome. Like that legacy will go on forever. So, thank you to the Franklin County Board of Education for approving that. Also, the Elk Grove Middle School SBDM jumped at the opportunity to make that happen as well. A couple other things that we're going to do, just again, as this Sheridan said, to keep this memory alive, to understand to people that he's not gone, he's always here with us. We will always remember his name as much as we remember Elkhorn Middle School. So what we'll have here is we have 2 plaques that are going to be up. This first one is going to be given to a student that shows exceptional choir ability, talent, and music ability. The students will be given the David L. Green Award every year. We will honor them in the promotion ceremony, and their name will go on the plaque, and this plaque will remain in the chorus room till time immemorial, right? Till it's all done. We will also, that student will be the winner of the scholarship that is being done. So thank you all for doing that, as well as we will have another plaque that will go right outside the theater. That will be his picture. I believe saying from him some words from David to live on in the building. So I really appreciate y'all coming today. It means a lot. It worked so hard to make this happen. Lots of time talking with Sue. Well, I shouldn't say like half the time was talking about this. I don't know what else we were talking about. Still trying to figure that out. I don't know. I love Sue. It's never a dull moment. So anyway, thank you all for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, family, for coming again. Just thank you again. It's really awesome to do this. So thank you again. So we're going to do the ribbon cutting to make this official.
The scissors are underneath the podium.
Okay.
I don't know who's going to cut.
There you
All
go.
right. Daddy. We're going to pull this back tight. That's okay, that's what should happen. I'm going to pull this tight and let you cut the ribbon for the Damon Green Theater.
So row 4, let's stand up. Let's quasi-organize as the risers. Let row 4 get up there first. Awesome. And then row 3 sopranos, where are you? Row 3 sopranos. Perfect. That you want to leave row 3 on, so row 3. If you're a row 3 alto, hang tight. So row 3 is now walking on. Row 3. Leave the second from the top. Perfect. Good, let's look at that. Awesome. Row 2, let's head up. Sopranos first. So, yeah, so we just make a big loop around here. You got it. Awesome. And this is row 2. Yeah. That's it. Awesome. And then row 1, sopranos, you'll do the same thing. So Maddie. Yep.
Good morning. I'm Miss Hurley. I teach high school choir across the driveway at Franklin County High School. And for 17 years, I had the privilege of working alongside my dear friend, David Green, over here. I want to share 2 quick stories. The day I was hired, I was sitting at this round table in the SPM room. I was 21 years old. And I remember they were asking me all these questions. They were like, can you do this? Can you do this? And I think they were like, do you have any questions for us? And I said, who's my middle school director? And they said, oh, he's phenomenal. His name is David Green. We'll hook you all up this summer. And so we shared a meal that summer. And I'll never forget, every year we would come over and sing for him and for his choirs. And every year it was like he was passing his kids off to me. And I always felt like that was such a privilege. I felt the same privilege when I passed my kiddos off that decide to go and sing at the collegiate level, or I see them in a community show, or I see them singing in their church choir on TV on cable 10. It is such an honor to see our kids go to that next level and still enjoy that gift that you've instilled, that love that you've instilled in them. So many of his kiddos are up here. They're a little emotional, so I'm going to talk for just a minute, let them get their emotions in check, and we may not. But that was the first story. The second story was actually the day that he called. And I had some of these girls and maybe a few guys with me, and we were at Junior High All-State, and we were at the Clarion Hotel for Kentucky ACDA All-State Choir. And all of his kiddos were there, but he wasn't there. So I called him and said, I'm not feeling really well, I'm going to go to the doctor. This was about 4 years ago. And it was the start of this debilitating disease that ultimately took him from us. But I thought, you know what, I'm not going to stand here and tell you stories today. So I used a Google form technology, and I gave it to my kids last week, and I said, okay, I need to know if you can come, because this is the first time we've ever sung together, because I've got virtual kiddos here that have never been to school, and I've got kiddos that are in other classes that have never sung with each other. So this is in true Damon fashion, our triple choir, as we call it, because we're combining, well, probably even more than that, if you think of our virtual kids. But I thought, what better way to honor him than actually let the kids tell us the stories. So I asked in that Google form for them to share a story if they were able to make it, and even if they weren't able to make it, just tell me a Damon story or two. So I plan to read a couple of those stories, and then we'll sing a song and share a few more stories in a song. That'll kind of be our lesson plan, if you will, for this morning, I guess, technically. All right, so here's the first one. I was never a student of Mr. Green's, but my sophomore year, we were in Bluegrass Theater Guild's production of To Kill a Mockingbird. Throughout the show, he always encouraged me and told me how great I was. After our school performance, he volunteered to drive me back to school. At first, I was kind of nervous because I didn't know him that well. When we got in his car, he turned on 24K Magic by Bruno Mars and started singing. He exuded so much joy that I couldn't help but start singing along and jamming out in his car. I will forever remember that drive. The music connected us, and Mr. Green embraced it. It was like the music was a part of him. That's from Natalie, class of 2021. Second story. He was always so supportive and constantly built me up. I'm forever grateful for his impact on my life and the lives of so many others. He was such a kind soul and was always willing to go the extra mile to help anyone. He was one of the funniest people I've ever met. I miss him very much. Anna, class of 2023. I didn't know Mr. Green that well since I didn't go to Elkhorn Middle, but I was in community theater productions with him. He played the pastor in To Kill a Mockingbird. I remember seeing him interacting with people and thinking how kind, thoughtful, godly, and spirit-filled he seemed. So Kyle, class of 2023. First song we'd like to sing for you is a good old spiritual called Lord, Sing Your Spirit. We'll feature two of our band members. This is Nathan Robinson and Jonathan Cook on bass and drums. And we're also so humbled today to have Miss Sulu Smith accompanying us. This is Raymond Wise's spiritual Lord, Sing Your Spirit.
You ready to have fun? Yes. Good. No tears, only happiness. Yeah. Great. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you very much. So here's some more stories. Mr. Green treated me like one of his own. He was the reason I wanted to come to school every day. Zach, class of 2024. One time when I was in 6th grade, we had to learn some basic music theory. And of course, I wasn't listening. And Mr. Green calls on me and asks, what key are we in? I said, key of G. Mr. Green simply said, nope. And turned to get the right answer from someone who was paying attention. And I was unbelievably embarrassed and kind of angry at Mr. Green for making me embarrassed. But then I realized Mr. Green didn't call on me to embarrass me. He called on me because he knew I was too smart to just not care. That's what made me realize Mr. Green was more than just a teacher. He was a mentor. Mr. Green was the first teacher I've ever had that made me feel worth something. He was the first teacher to make me feel as if I had a family. Leon, class of 2022. Mr. Green always made me feel included. He had taught my mom, dad, Uncle Josh. One time, when I finished auditioning for a solo, he said, you sing just like your mama. Good thing you don't act like your daddy. And it was hilarious. He could smile at me and all my nerves would go away. Alec, class of 2022. The next song we'd like to sing for you is a piece called You Will Be Found from Dear Evan Hansen. It's by basic composer arranger Mac Hub. It's going to feature some solos, Cooper Hendricks, Liz Anderson. It's also going to feature some seniors that are going to jump up there and sing with us for the first time. We'll feature Havlet Harris and Niall Anderson and also Natalie DeFore. This song is all about finding your home, finding your people, finding your place. You will be found.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there? Have you ever felt forgotten in the middle of nowhere? Have you ever felt like you could disappear? Like you could fall and no one would hear?
Let that feeling wash away. It's bringing that reason to believe you'll be okay. And when you don't feel strong enough to stand, you can reach out your hand.
And someone will come running, and I know they'll take you home.
Even when the darkness crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, when you're broken on the ground,
You will be found, so let the sun come streaming in. take you home. The dark comes crashing through. We need a friend to carry you. When you're broken on the ground, you will be found. And the sun comes streaming in. So reach up and rise again. You only look around. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found. Shadow, morning is breaking. All is still not be empty. Suddenly I see that all is
Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, when you're broken on the ground, you will be found.
the sun comes streaming in. So reach up and rise again. You won't be
I just love spending time with Mr. Green in class. He was such a light, even in the dark time, and continued to make the choir a joyful place. Sarah, class of 2023. A Mr. Green memory that I have is when he always made funny jokes, despite the condition he was in. He always had a way of brightening up a room when everything seemed dark. Ella, class 2024. It is safe to say that there are way too many good memories with Mr. Green to even be able to choose between them. Every day spent with Mr. Green was a good day. However, I remember quite vividly the day he told us he was sick. He was crying. I was crying. My peers were crying. We spent 3 years of our adolescent lives with this amazing man, and the thought of him being stripped away from us was absolutely shattering. But after he broke the news to us, he made us dry our tears and sing. Of course, we didn't want to. We were devastated. But he pushed us anyway. He continued to do so for the remainder of his life, no matter how sick he was or how horrible he felt. He was a light. He continued to sing. He continued to shine. He continued to inspire. He was our light. Even today, he is our light. Ruth, class of 2022. We'd like to conclude our portion of this beautiful ceremony today with the Dolly Parton tune called Light of a Clear Blue Morning. It's arranged by Craig Hilla Johnson, and it's going to feature several of his former babies, starting with Miss Ruth Noel.
It's been a long, dark night, and I've been waiting for the morning. It's been a long, hard fight, but I see a brand new day dawning. I've been looking for the sunshine, 'cause I ain't seen it in so long. Everything's gonna work out fine. Everything's gonna be alright.
I can see the light of a clear blue morning. I can see the light of a brand new day. I can see the light of a clear blue morning. Everything's gonna be alright, it's gonna be okay. I can see the light, see the light. I can see the light of a clear blue morning. I can see the light of a clear blue morning. I can see the light of a clear blue morning.
I can see the light.
Clear blue.
I can see the light. Blue, blue morning.
He heard you.
That's why there were so many tears.
Well, every time I think of Damon, I want to sing this little song from Sunday school. I've got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Now, I don't know if he ever even sang that song, but he lived that song. And whether he was just having joy about his faith, or joy with his students, or joy when singing, or joy when acting, joy when laughing. He lived by the motto of joy: Jesus, others, you. His laughter will always permeate these hallways, and his love for all of his students will ripple throughout eternity. And so we wanted to share that joy that he encompassed by creating a scholarship in his memory. And we called it the Lift Your Voice Scholarship, because that's what he did all the time, was lift his voice. So at first we thought we would create a scholarship for students who would go into full-time music ministry in some way. But the more we got talking about it, the more we thought that might be too limiting. Because as he lived his life, he wanted all people to enjoy singing. And so I think we're going to change the scholarship a little bit to focus on someone who will, no matter what they go into in college or in other training, will give of their voice or their acting ability to the community in some way, whether it be in a church choir, or in their college choir, or in a community choir, or a community theater. So we will be looking each year for a student who has already given his voice or her voice in a number of activities throughout their high school and middle school years, and also who will commit to, no matter what they end up doing in terms of their purpose in life, they will still continue to give their voice to the world. So that's pretty much all I have to say about it. We've been working on the criteria, and that will be posted on the Franklin County High School website. We hope to have enough money to give our first scholarship sometime this summer. I know we can't get it done by the end of the school year, but, and we are aiming at $1,000 scholarship every year. We will be doing some fundraising, so please pay attention to the paper and Facebook and so forth for ideas about fundraising. And also, I have a box out here that if you have your checkbooks today and you want to write a check, you can do that, or contribute some cash. And there's also forms that you can take with you so that you know how to contribute to this fund. It'll be going through Elkhorn Middle School, so you will write checks to Elkhorn Middle School, and then Elkhorn Middle School will be in charge of distributing that money as the group of people who are on this committee make decisions. So those of you in high school, those of you who are seniors this year, make sure that you see Ms. I want to say Ray Harley for a copy of the scholarship form, and we will be telling everybody how we're going to promote this in terms of letting people know. You'll probably get a picture in the paper and that kind of thing, and those are decisions we'll make later. So if you have any questions, I'll be at the table on the way out, and thank you for listening, and thank you for helping us share Damon's joy.
Hello, I'm Kathy Crump, and I've known Damon for 19 years now. And I got here today and had to stop because The bird was up there chirping at me. Never done that all year, we did. And my alarm went off, and that's Damon telling me, messing with me. Today, finally, we get to come together and celebrate our teacher and our friend. And I think that's been the hardest part for me, is the COVID and not being able to celebrate him the way we would normally. And we'd have a building full of kids crying and carrying on, and we would be there to cry with them. And we couldn't even do that. So Miss Sheridan asked me to get up here. She didn't know what she was getting into. I'm the emotional one, so I'm gonna get through this. But she called me that day, and I just didn't believe that he was gone. Even today, sometimes it still just doesn't register. But just not being able to see him that one last time. And the day before he passed, I found a picture of him in it. And we were in this very gym behind us. It's an assembly. And he was sitting on that bottom rung, that bottom bleacher. And these kids, how they do, they run to Mr. Green and want to tell him everything. And they went and complained about this teacher, and she had sat there beside him during this assembly. And you can see his emotions anytime you look at him. And as soon as she sat down, that face changed, and I turned around my phone. Geez, get ready to smile. And he had the biggest smile on his face. But it was a picture that turned out I couldn't put it up on the wall. He had his little message to me at the bottom there, just for me to see that his way of getting me there too. But we had a good laugh about that. But that big smile on his face, and that's what I was meant to see that day. That was the day before he passed away, and I was meant to find that. It was over spring break that this happened, during COVID. He didn't want these kids in this building crying. And he wants the happy times. He wants the memory of him with that smile and that joy in his heart and what we have from him. So that is what I remember is the smile. Big smile. But even today, I still, like I said, it's still not real. But I know he's here with us in our heart. He's here in this building, just like everyone has said. You can walk down these halls and you can feel him in any room you go to in this building. And, it's just his soul and spirit are alive every day. He has many homes, but this one's one of them. This is a big home. It's where we have our Mr. Green. He's just here. And to listen to the Franklin County High School Choir in hours, it's just, he's in each and every one of you, And what a true blessing for anyone that has ever got to experience that love, that friendship like each and every one of us in this room has for Mr. Green. And it's really amazing when you think about it, this was actually part of the plan. So Ms. Sheridan asked me to give a few words to close out the ceremony, and I'm getting ready to turn this over to Ms. Cobb. My final thoughts for my friend is just this prayer. So let us pray with us. Lord, please give us a deep and abiding sense of your peace in the midst of our sadness. For we believe that our friend and teacher who's gone before us, that we will be reunited with you in him one day. Until that time, give us strength and hope and joy at knowing that you are here with us to strengthen and console us. Amen.
That would be a little less fun. So Damon, when I started here 17 years ago, Damon and I became fast friends. Honestly, I don't know that I would have survived my first year at Elkhorn without him. And it was funny because we just sort of immediately clicked. And I had a really hard year my first year. I had
really rough classes, and I kept, like, there were days I would leave here in tears, and so finally, a couple months into the school year, around November, David told me, he said, Kelly, I have a confession. And at that point, we were already friends, and I was like, what? And he said, well, I didn't know you when you were hired, and I was in charge of scheduling this. So all the bad students that none of us wanted, we just gave to you. He said, I hope you're not mad at me. I hope you don't hate me. And at that point, we were already friends. I couldn't be mad at him. I said, okay, that explains it. Now get me through the rest of the semester. But I think after we got to know each other, they really felt guilty about giving me such a difficult group. But I'm thankful he started me out with that difficult group, because I quickly realized if I could survive that, I could pretty much survive anything that got thrown at me. And over the years, we shared so many laughs. He was such a big part of my life, my children's lives, your all's lives. And I feel him daily in this building. So, when I think of Damon, like so many of you, I think of love. He loved God. He loved his church. He loved his family, his friends. He loved his students. And he loved this school. He wrote the school song. I don't know if some of you sitting here that performed had to sing it. Some of you still remember it, know it in my heart. But he was everything that he was Elkhorn to so many of us. So I thought, Sue, Kathy, and I thought, as a nice way to end out this ceremony and this dedication, I have a recording of David singing at his last chorus concert. It's not the best quality, but we thought it would be a nice way to end with hearing his voice. So, before I run up, and probably bear with me, I'll probably mess up the sounds of stuff. But in closing, I would just like to say thank you, Sue Sheridan, for planning this wonderful event. Thank you, Mr. Rhodey, for allowing it to happen. And thank you to all of you who helped and contributed and are here today. So, the song that you'll hear David singing is More Than Wonderful, his favorite gospel hymn, and it is very beautiful. So, give me just a minute, and I'll hopefully get this to work the first try.
And everyone is getting extra tissues. We have plenty if you need them. I think the kids need that. Okay.
Mighty God, and the Prince of Peace, promised us that He would be the Father, and would love us with a love that we cannot see. Well, I tried, and I found His promises were true. Everything He said that He would, the finest words I know, and I began to tell just what He's really means.
My mind can goes beyond my highest hopes and fondest dreams. That my soul longs for, and there's so much more than amazing. It's more than marvelous, more than miraculous. Never be, he's more than wonderful. That's what Jesus is. Loves me, and who I am. That our mind can do before and our heart can do goes beyond my highest hope and fondest dreams. That my soul alone everything He's promised, and so much more. He's more than amazing, He's more than marvelous, more than miraculous. Could never be. He's more than wonderful. That's what Jesus is. He's everything that my soul longs for. Say, David. Everything He's promised. David, so much more. He's more than amazing. He's more than marvelous, more than miraculous. Could never be. He's more than wonderful. He's more than wonderful. That's what Jesus is. That's what Jesus is to me.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. I can see Damon directing you guys when y'all sing it. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Sue, Melanie, Ms. Crump, everybody. Thank you all so very. You have no idea.
David loved you all so much. David loved you all so much. Thank you. I remember when he came to Woodford County to teach at Woodford Middle School. He told me, he said, Dad, these people don't need me here. I'm going back.
He couldn't wait to get back.
He was miserable.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Oh, you make me feel so much better. The love that you show makes me feel so much better.
Yeah.
all
Thank you
needed
from the
this.
bottom of my heart.
And I thank Damon because Damon, everything was polo, so everything I got on was Damon's. This is a big Ford, everything polo I got on.